All right, let's jump right in. If you're a medical student prepping for boards or just gearing up for clinical rotations, you already know how massive and, frankly, overwhelming microbiology can feel. But today, we're cutting straight through all that noise. In this explainer, we're taking high-yield clinical notes and locking down the exact disease profile you need to know for pelvic inflammatory disease and acute epididymo-Orchitis.
You know how it is, staring at a page of handwritten scribbles, trying to make it stick? Well, we're taking these exact study notes and totally breaking them down. We're adding the proper labels, the clear subtitles, the whole shebang. Our goal here is to take this raw foundational info and instantly turn it into a highly organized visual map right in your brain.
So here is our game plan for this explainer. First, the causal agent. Second, clinical features. Third, complications, specifically reader syndrome. And we'll wrap it all up with investigation and treatment.
Okay, let's hit Section 1, the causal agent.
We're looking at chlamydia trachomatis. Now I want you to pay close attention to an absolutely crucial board exam buzzword right here, obligate intracellular. Seriously, burn that phrase into your memory. It means this bacteria acts almost like a virus. It's essentially a freeloader that literally has to live inside the host cells to survive and replicate. If you see a clinical vignette about the reproductive tract and the words obligate intracellular pop up, boom, your mind should immediately jump straight to this bug.
So who is actually walking into your clinic with this? Let's look at the demographics. First off, it's strictly an STI, a sexually transmitted infection. As for the age bracket, we're mostly looking at patients right in that 20 to 40-year-old range. And here's a really important takeaway. It doesn't discriminate. The prevalence is a perfect 50-50 split. Guys, girls, they are affected at the exact same rate.
Moving right along to Section 2, clinical features.
When this infection starts, it is rarely this dramatic, sudden crash. Instead, it's sneaky. The notes specifically highlight an insidious onset. It just gradually creeps up on the patient, and rather than a massive, spiking temperature, they usually just have a simmering, low-grade fever. This low and slow presentation is actually a huge diagnostic clue to help you tell it apart from other, more aggressive acute infections.
Now check out this anatomical divide, because this is where it gets really interesting. Both sexes get that same sneaky onset, the low-grade fever, and crucially, this nasty mucopurulent discharge. But obviously, the anatomy dictates the diagnosis. In females, the infection ascends and triggers pelvic inflammatory disease, or PID, with mucopurulent vaginal discharge. In males, you're looking at acute Epididymo-Orchitis, which shows up as mucopurulent urethral discharge. Same exact pathogen, same exact type of discharge, just two very distinct anatomical syndromes.
All right, Part 3, complications, specifically focusing on Ritter syndrome.
Even though it's less common, you absolutely have to know what happens if this primary infection goes unchecked. And the crucial detail here is the timeline. Ritter syndrome doesn't happen right away. The notes explicitly show a specific window. It develops 1 to 3 weeks post-infection. So if your patient comes back a couple of weeks after a seemingly mild issue, and suddenly they've got new, full-body systemic symptoms, that timeline is your smoking gun.
And what exactly are those new symptoms? It's a classic, step-by-step triad of inflammation. First, reactive arthritis in the joints. Second, urethritis, inflammation of the urethra. And third, conjunctivitis, inflammation of the eyes. Joints, urethra, eyes. You'll hear that classic medical community memory aid all the time. Can't see, can't pee, can't climb a tree. If you spot that exact triad rolling in 1 to 3 weeks after a low-grade fever, you are looking dead at Ritter syndrome triggered by chlamydia.
Finally, let's wrap this up with Section 4, investigation and treatment.
So, how do we actually confirm what we're dealing with? You definitely can't just guess based on the symptoms. To definitively lock in the presence of chlamydia trachomatis, these high-yield notes tell us that serology is the absolute go-to diagnostic pathway.
And once you've confirmed it, how do you fix it? Doxycycline. Literally, just remember that one word for your exams in your future practice. Doxycycline is the treatment of choice because it's incredibly effective at penetrating the host cells to neutralize that obligate intracellular threat. It goes right to where the bacteria is hiding. So let's pull it all together. You've got your obligate intracellular agent, equal parts male and female, presenting with an insidious mucopurulent onset. You know to watch out for that 1 to 3 week delayed trap of Ritter syndrome, and you know exactly how to knock it out with doxycycline.
By visualizing this entire disease profile just like we mapped it out today, you're going to be totally prepared. So the real question is, are you ready to spot that sneaky, insidious onset before it triggers a massive systemic cascade on your next rotation? I know you are for sure. Keep studying smart, and we'll see you in the next experiment.